All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the 1988 film, The Kiss. So this movie flopped.
Do you mean with us here now, or do you mean originally when it came out?
At the box office, it did not do well.
Okay.
This is a movie I caught originally on a super late night, like, Channel 9 cinema, something or other there. And I was young, and I only recall one single line from the movie. And that line...
Let me write down something here and hide it. And then you tell me what you remembered, and I'll tell you what I remembered.
That line was better in my head than it was in the actual movie, and that line is something along the lines of, "If you believed I couldn't even come in."
Yeah.
And I was like, that is a very cool thing. A witch says this to a priest as she, assaults him for a little while. And I like the idea of the fact that if a priest actually believed in his own religion, this person couldn't enter the church.
Yeah. Was that the first time you ever encountered that concept, so it made a big impression on you or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe.
Those things happen.
But that was something that stuck with me, and I didn't remember the name of the movie. I remember nothing else about it.
I thought I haven't seen this movie. Then I saw the box, and I was like, wait a minute, the lady and the skull face and the something, but I did not remember this title. It's not a spoiler, I guess we'll be like vague or like whatever. There's a scene involving an escalator, and it turns out I had seen that, because that like traumatized me as a wee baby, or whatever 5 years old, whatever time this came out. I think I saw it on like channel 11 or 9 or something, where there would have been no good parts.
Sure.
And maybe only watched like a part, like it's like TV. You're like a kid. Things come in and out. So maybe I only saw like a few segments or whatever. But that escalator stuck with me.
So like, that led me to like think, as a man who's always trying to hunt down everything I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I found out what the movie was, this movie, The Kiss, and it is relatively rare and hard to come by.
Oh, shit.
So I tried through my natural life to find this movie, and I never did. And you'll see this on eBay a lot for like $100, $150. Like, it is like a rare movie. You can see like a Brazilian version, or like the VHS for cheaper. There's like a lot of people selling like the DVD minus R, like warning, just so you know, this is not actually what you're pictured. You're getting
I copied this. And I wrote La Kiss on it.
Yeah.
And here you go.
So
I did not know any of that. That's amazing. It's like, this is like a hard to find.
It was
like,
hard to find one,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So this Christmas, I got this.
Treat yourself. Okay.
It was $60 with $2.95 shipping. So
damn.
So this is one of the more expensive movies in my collection. But I was like, well, I'm not getting any younger, and I've not seen this movie since I was like a baby. I was like, I want to see this movie again, and I will subject Lee to watch this movie as well.
No, and that is a concept, something I've also tried to do. I don't have any stories, but like you have like a memory from your childhood, some weird thing, like someone on an escalator, and then it's great when you finally do close that loop and you find out that's from an episode of the Ewoks cartoon. Like you find out some crazy thing, because you just remember it, and memories change over time in your head, all that crap, right? And then you get to actually come back and like revisit it. That's a very special, awesome thing.
Yeah, and that was this. All right, guys, so if you've seen it or don't care, false over spoilers, this one's a little harder, so I would say it might be difficult to go watch on your own. I don't think it's anything streaming, but if you got some bucks, you can find it on eBay.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video, and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, here we are for spoilers for The Kiss. All right, so now that we're in the spoiler territory, I sense you did not like The Kiss.
Oh, not terribly much. I don't think, like, I was like, I don't hate it, it's fine. And then as I thought about it more, I'm like, I think I hate it. I don't know. Did you love The Kiss?
I didn't love it.
Think it's the
I'm
greatest
going to say I don't know that it was worth the money the DVD cost, but I did enjoy it. I thought certain parts definitely felt like that step back in time to like when movies were different.
It's about the journey. It's not about the actual like contents of like the thing or something like that. But did you find anything about, like, you heard that it flopped? Did you see anything like they were like, this stinks? Like I didn't go look at ratings.
It seemed to have a
or
mix
anything.
from critics. And like the ones they cite obviously were like not important critics. Like it does seem like it has a bit of a cult following, or else it wouldn't be so valuable.
Sure.
But
So, Stefan, what is The Kiss?
So The Kiss is weird movie that doesn't necessarily know what it is, but basically it is like a mix of like witchcraft and like some sort of a host organism.
You have some kind of occult elements, right?
Yeah.
I would describe The Kiss as what I call a I say stepmother thriller, but it's really a step-parent thriller, right?
Yeah, anyone who's not your actual parent coming in to replace a role and has some like, they've got motives.
And it can even be like, I think like the babysitter thriller is very close to that. There's a whole tree you can draw, but yes, you have a thing where it's like they're not quite what they seem, and it's like the kid trying to convince the other parent that like this person's not good. They did that. How could they have done that? You just hate her. That's ridiculous. And all those stupid it's got that at its core. And in this form,
it is the estranged like aunt who they know nothing of, and post a death in the family come into contact with, and she's like too good to be true and evil.
Played by Melania Trump, by the way. When she says, "I'm used to people walking in and out of dressing rooms," I was like, she is played by Melania Trump. This is crazy.
Not actually.
No, not literally, but effectively. This is a biography of Melania Trump.
Sure. So the movie starts off like way in the past as like our setup for the thing, so it's like 25 years ago in like the Congo. And like what's weird is like it's like the 60s, but I guess that's how people dressed in the 60s. It felt like I'm like, we're in like the 1890s. It had a really different vibe to it. And my favorite line of the movie is spoken in this flashback, where a random conductor guy is like chastising someone. He's like, "What do you think you're handling? Coconuts?"
What do you think you're handling? Coconuts?
When a guy's like holding monkeys.
Yes.
And that's the best line in the movie. And I'll fight anyone who says it's not.
So it was all downhill from there? That's in the first
just because you're the best line doesn't mean things aren't good. Okay, well, because I would have said the best line was the thing that got me sucked back into wanting to watch the movie, that whole like, if you even believed I couldn't walk in the front door. But that didn't happen the way it happened in my head. In my head, she's like already looks demon-y. She comes in as like lightning. The doors just blow open, wind. The girl who's taking refuge with the pastor dude, father, whatever he is holding a cross, and she like smacks it out of his hand. If you believed I couldn't walk in the front door. But really she like scratches him with a Bible and says it kind of under her breath.
You believe? If you believed, Father, I could never come in here.
And I'm like,
So it's like underwhelming from your memories, or
it was underwhelming, as I do with almost all things. I make them better in my head, and then I'm disappointed when I actually see them.
I like that concept. I don't know the first
I love
time
the concept.
I saw it, but I like one of my strongest memories is from Dusk Till Dawn, when he's like, "Now, do you believe or not? Because if you believe, you can bless this water and we can use it as a weapon or whatever." And you're like, "Oh, sweet."
A servant of God can bless the tap water and make it a weapon.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like I like that.
No, I like good concepts as much as the next guy. So like really early on, we in this flashback, the girl is sick, and presumably because this witch of an aunt is like doing things to her to make her sick.
I want to go with her.
Hillary, no, your sister's not well.
See that trend later
You
on.
put it together later that like, oh, this has been like engineered and all that stuff to happen. So
and then she's like slowly withering away, turning into what I imagine is just her natural age or whatever may be happening.
It's been in our family for a long time.
And she gives this young girl, her niece, a kiss. And they swap bodies, and like her body withers away and dies.
Ma'am?
And now she is this young girl.
And they
I'm
signal
like,
this.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they signal this by the young girl has like changed her hair. She appears to not suck so much. This young actress was awful, and she doesn't really say anything, once she's transformed, but just the way she's carrying
demeanor,
herself. I'm like, oh, you seem so much better now. You should have been like that. But I guess she's not sick anymore, whatever you want to call it. Hair is different. She's holding the African Idol thing in like the bag and all that stuff.
Which definitely gets cooler as it goes, the African Idol itself. It looks kind of weird in the flashback, but...
Like it? It looks so angry.
I like it.
In the future, it's got cool shit, like you put blood in its head and it comes out its mouth. It's like a weird Play-Doh fun factory.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a whole party game. It's a whole thing. But yeah, and like then you are treated to like the 25 years later thing or something like that. So you're already like, okay, like what's happening? And they cut to a girl in church getting her like church stuff done.
Sullivan is a soldier of Christ.
And I'm like, she seems young for 25 years from now. What's going on? And it turns out, like,
that's the daughter. When
you cut from one girl to the other girl and you say 25 years later, but that brunette is not an older version of this brunette. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm already starting to get signs that like things aren't as tight as I would like them to be or something.
And we're not like, religious people. I don't know. Do they actually call them like soldiers of Christ or whatever the fuck they said?
Do you renounce Satan?
I do renounce him.
I confirm you, Amy Bridget Halloran, as a soldier of Christ.
I tune all that out. I have no idea.
I like the terminology.
Yes.
I don't know if that's accurate.
They are Catholic, I believe, right? Or some form of Catholic. So
there's a God involved.
It's very like, well, they're very Orthodox and they have different rituals and like history and all that stuff. So even if you know religious people, you may not know that sort of thing, right?
It comes great as like this great foreshadowing thing. Like you are a soldier of Christ. You've killed this witch.
Get it? Yes, exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
But because it's bugging me and I want to make sure I don't forget it. They do really mix match things that don't seem to make sense or have a really tight, cohesive thing. As you said, like I can see things already starting to fall apart. Because it's witchcraft, it's voodoo, it's like African idols and stuff. But clearly she's like possessed by some sort of an entity, a like parasite, a monster. Something is inside of her, and that is physically what is trading hands. So I wonder, did they just like, oh, I wanted to make this, but witches are hot right now. We gotta make witches.
I wonder if we should save this for the end or whatever. But yes, if we're to talk about it here, the box, the 80% of the movie, everything is a lie because it's like an alien worm monster.
Yep.
It's not what you would expect it to be.
No, it's very strange.
And the whole thing of like, oh, like they even smash the idol. And then she can still,
what is the point of it?
Yeah, so like I was like, oh, without that idol, then she can't transfer herself. So like now she just wants revenge as she dies. So they just have to like probably wait till dawn and something happens. And it's like, no, the alien worm parasite can still just come out of her and swim around and then go into the daughter.
Really
I'm like,
strange.
What's happening?
And there are extra layers and baggage attached to this curse that it's like, well, it has to be a female from her bloodline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what would that matter at all? Like, I'm like, okay, that makes sense if it's a weird, like, okay, I can jump my body to your body because of that bullshit. But when it becomes to be a giant maggot thing out of your mouth, I don't know how much that would ever matter. Because how did it start?
Because it found a suitable host.
Okay.
And those, whatever traits allow that are being heredited down.
I don't hate that.
Hereditary.
If it were ever explained at all.
No, they don't explain. Well, and like, I don't care if they explain stuff, but like you're saying, like, I don't, like there's an awesome part, this would have been my version when she's like, I've sheltered their family for like generations or like, so many years, like they owe this to me or something like that. We're going to get off on like a bit of a segue.
Sure.
Are you prepared for this?
I'm prepared.
Okay. Because that would have been such a good movie if this creature, whether it's an alien worm or just this, like demonic spirit, picture like things are going well in like the daughter's life. Maybe she makes the cheerleading squad because the other cheerleader has an accident. Like stuff starts happening because this thing is like watching over the family, but in this really dark, twisted way. But there's none of that. There's no attempt to like woo the daughter over to like be a part of this. It's literally just like, I'm going to mess up their family a bit, separate them, and attack. Like it's this weird, like that's your whole plan. You've had 25 years.
Because 25 years ago, it was just, I'm gonna grab your hand, I'm gonna kiss you, I got you. But then in the future, it's like, I gotta perform a spell, I put some voodoo shit on you. I got this, I've killed everyone you love and care about. It should just be like, I get you alone and bam, you didn't expect this. Haha,
Yeah.
kissed you. Like, it's really weird.
Because that's the pattern of the movie. The aunt shows back up and then weird bad things start happening.
Yeah.
But those bad things should be happening to people the daughter doesn't like, because that would make her be like, oh, weird. And
yes,
right?
But
or
for
something?
the reason they are happening is because it's anyone that could possibly get in the way of
her
the aunt
doing the thing,
has to get,
exactly.
like
Yes.
oh, the best friend, and it is voodoo shit though, because she needs the possession of theirs.
She needs a
she's
trinket.
She's like, oh, you let her sleep at your house where there's a security alarm that I can't get to her.
We've got a major security system. Nobody will get us in our beds. That is, nobody we don't want to get us.
Got your glasses, boom, bam, in the escalator, got ya. The other guy, oh, you're gonna come to my hotel room and tell me off? Got your earring, cat's killed you. Like,
yeah.
And that cat was pretty interesting. It is like the basis of what I consider good. It is dated, but I like that. It does look a little bit like a weird Pet Sematary style cat. But that's like her familiar or something, because we got some witchcraft going on.
That's what I also wrote down, was her demon cat familiar. But I said, so this I couldn't decide if it was the best or the worst, because it was like, this kind of reminds me from the Dark Crystal. There's a creature called the Fizzgig. It's weird, like it's just like a furry mouth or something like that, and it doesn't look exactly like it, but the way the puppet is kind of like reminded me. It's like a Henson-y, like a weird.
What is the
like,
shitty
thing or
movie with
something
the
like that.
cat that has like the cat that comes out of its mouth or whatever? Oh, it's like the Unfollowed or Unforgiven or some stupid shit.
The other cat that comes out of its mouth. I don't know.
It looked kind of like that, like weird fucking.
Yeah, something about the placement of the eyes made it read like a puppet on like a show. Than on
oh,
a puppet
and based
on
on how it was used, it was clearly a puppet.
No, but I mean, like, felt like oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a puppet. I'm in a world of puppets now. Right, as opposed to like, what is that thing? Right, certain weird, like rotting, deadly animals have a look of like, oh God,
Yeah.
did they use the animal's corpse to make that? But this was like a very like.
I like that when during the first possession takeover, they're on a train carrying like animals for whatever, and the animals freak out during magic being used.
Yes.
At least that's what I'm led to believe. And then
laying the
later on,
groundwork, yes.
as the witch, the aunt, is trying to get the dad this job that will get him sent away through Hans from the Mighty Ducks.
But you know how persuasive this young lady can be.
Gordon, you deserve the credit.
Who to me is the most famous guy in this movie. He has a throwaway role of, I need an architect. Ah, you want me to shop on your skates? Like, when she's asking him, like, this shit, it's like, some fucking Jedi mind trick stuff happening, and the monkeys start to freak out.
I think Jack can help you.
She's right. I'd love for you to look at the specification. Maybe you could work out some arrangement.
She has like a power to just kind of like ask you to do things, and like you'll do them. You're like she can make you bend to her will a little bit.
She does that to the dad too,
Yes.
but I wasn't sure if that was related to them having sex. I think
I think so.
I think it contributes to it.
Any way you can. Get police away from Amy, you understand? Jack?
Yeah.
It's strange because sometimes it's like, oh, I need to have like my blood magic where I pump in this cool syringe thing and drop it into my like idol. And like other times I need your possessions, and then sometimes it's just, hey, maybe you'll give him a job.
You know how persuasive she can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means they remember? I don't know what's going on.
When that cat, there's like a first thing where like the dad like wakes up in the middle of the night and he's like, oh, what's that? Better grab my defense weapon, this like umbrella.
I assume that was a self-defense umbrella issued by the British government to its spies.
I have seen a documentary that used one of those.
There you go.
I think it's called The Kingsman.
I want to tell you about a documentary called The Kingsman.
So he goes downstairs and like you see the door like. But like the chain's still on, so he's like, oh, and that's like his first a little scare.
But like we've seen a movie before, so I'm like, okay, he's gonna turn around. There's gonna be something.
So he closes the door, locks it, hangs up his weapon. And then like, oh, that door's moving now. Oh my God. Another like scare attempt as he opens it, like cereal falls.
Yeah.
Like, oh, whew. Cereal, and then demon cat, swipe, swipe.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? They just went for 3 in a row.
Does that bother you? Okay, I was there.
It felt so like weird.
It's weird.
Because like
a lot of stuff's weird in this. A lot of stuff,
Yeah.
because it, like I've been saying, it's structured like a thriller, but then there's all these gory-ish kind of death things.
I would say
and
that
it's not
those are the
really-
strongest part
Yes.
of the movie are the effects, but they're not amazing. But
No.
they're pretty decent.
But
you know,
they're
for the time. I think
they're
I saw
clearly
this
trying
had
to showcase that though.
what was the budget
right?
on this? A few million, something like that.
Yeah, but like that's kind of like I feel like that's the point of the movie is to show these things.
Yeah.
But the movie's not like it's not structured like you have this mystery. I can't wait to see what happens.
No.
Because in the intro, there's like several intros where they show you everything that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's really weird. So there's no like like suspense where it's like maybe you're on the side of the dad at first because you've never seen a movie before, and then like you eventually become on the daughter's side, or like you can see how they might think this or that or whatever. It seems just very like. And then we go do the thing. It seems very like whatever.
The dad, very familiar.
Yes.
I like perused his IMDb and like nothing really jumped out where I'm like, oh, that's the thing I know you from. But his face,
Agreed.
Either he looks like somebody else or he's been in something that like had some deep meaning to me that is not actually famous.
I expected to see that he was a character in like a Die Hard movie or something where I'm like, oh shit, that guy. Or he was like one of the people in like Aliens who was on the space, who died.
something.
I expected, like, I know that face, and no, I had the same experience.
Yeah.
Did you like the dad?
I did. I thought he was okay. He played that part, which was like, it's hard to be a very likable character with like a really shitty role. But it worked.
He walked the line for me because I know he was trying to be, because eventually he like goes into dad mode and he's like better, I guess. But I was still like I know he didn't have good stuff to work with, but I wrote in my notes, the dad sucks, and I was like, first of all, he's an architect. That's a fake job. Second of all,
that was like the go-to job of this time period. I'm an architect.
That's a fake movie job or whatever.
Yeah, because it explains them just doodling and making a lot of money. They had a really nice house. I thought this was a very cool, like 80s house. Like, and those were always like fun, like the rich person 80s house. Their backyard, as they show
barbecue
it,
stuff.
like the grass looked so fake. Like it looked like it was like a golf course.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I even looking at
Maybe
here?
it is fake.
I'm
Maybe
like,
the
well, they
whole
are
thing's
in
fake.
California. Maybe the grass is legitimately fake.
Exactly.
And it made me, I was like, oh, they're clearly just on a backlot. I'm like, but they have a pool. I'm like, that would be a weird thing to somehow like, oh no, we have a below ground pool.
I feel like that's the
set.
same pool that was in every movie for the next 10 years. I feel like that's the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's
They
Dead
actually
party.
dug that pool
That's
in Encino Man.
That's the and like and Encino Man's a flashback to when they dug that pool, and it's just been the same pool. Clueless has a pool thing. There's a pool scene, like all these different things. Everything that has a pool party is that pool.
I don't agree, but I do get what you're saying.
It's like the perfect whatever. Because he says but the glasses had blood on them, and he goes, oh, the murder weapon or whatever.
They had blood or something on them.
That's right, the murder weapon. Come on, Amy.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, your daughter's friend just got sent to the hospital. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and like your wife was killed like 5 months prior. Like, maybe not joke about death. The
Totally.
wife's death was pretty awesome.
I liked the wife's death. I agree.
It wasn't what, like, I didn't have any memory of how that went down.
Right.
I knew, like, they had to get her out of the way somehow. But I loved how, like, this Final Destination thing where, you're like, did the witch do this? Because, like, they don't directly show it happening, but like you're almost like based on how other things go down.
Yeah.
It had to be her.
You were at the funeral.
Yes, I was.
And like
Oh,
she's about to
assume.
shop for a gun to try to like. She's like, I know you're a witch or have a parasite or whatever I know about you. You're not good, and I don't want you near my daughter.
Yeah.
And like, a series of events happen that a car like belts her fucking through the front windshield, the front window of a like, you know, what was it? Was it a gun store, a hunting store?
In the window of the gun store. But
Yeah.
Once they're inside, it doesn't really look like that.
Yeah,
but
that's what threw me.
fine.
But like the car's like on top of her, but like slightly at an angle. And as like she's trying to pull
Yeah.
her way out, like something falls and looks like it's gonna impale her, and
Yeah.
it doesn't. And she gets pulled out, and you see her leg get left behind, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah,
Didn't expect that.
The Final Destination moment of like the thing falling, I had the same reaction of like, oh, everything's stacked
Yeah,
against her
that
and
not
stuff.
killing her.
Yeah.
Like, that was the 1-2 punch of not expecting it. Like,
Yeah.
her not to die from that, or the car just to come down on her
Yeah.
and kill her. I was like, okay, you've got me
Yeah,
now.
but
And then
yeah.
they drag her away and her leg stays. I'm
Exactly.
like, 1-2 punch, you got me.
Having the leg drop there, no, that's like the high point of the movie for me, because I'm like, now I'm engaged, because the whole intro I was like, wow, I really like laying down a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and I wonder how this is gonna fit together, and then we have the mom and all that stuff, and it's after like a like creepy phone call of like, it's time, no, never, and all that stuff.
Hillary, I have to see you. It's time.
No.
Never. I have to.
They treat it like it is this family legacy
Yeah.
thing, but it doesn't seem like it should be something that anyone should know about. And if it does, why wouldn't they be having more kids and stuff? Why is only the one chosen? How are they getting any benefit from this? As the other side of
We've
the
sheltered their
family?
family for years.
I've sheltered her family for years. She's my bloodline. They owe her to me.
Something's missing.
Something is missing.
And here's something else: the cross.
Yes,
from the beginning.
I made a mental note to be like,
Because-
that seems like it should be something big and relevant, but it never really comes back.
I think in like an earlier draft, that cross was meant to like protect the female from this happening. Because in the intro, the dad says, "Give that to your sister."
That was your mother's. It would be a shame if you lost it. Leave it with Hillary until after you get back from the sanitarium. Hmm?
And they replay that audio, right? They make it into like
Yeah.
a big deal, and then she gets got, right?
Yeah.
Then at the party, she like gives the cross to her daughter.
It's beautiful.
It's yours now. I wanted you to have it.
Thanks, Mom.
We'll talk later.
Yes.
And then takes a walk and gets killed immediately. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh ho ho! I start to hatch this theory in my brain about the cross mattering, right? And then yeah, by the end of it,
But what's weird is I don't know where I lost track of it, and then the priest had it.
Is Jack Heller in there, please?
So like he got it off the.
So when she's talking to the priest, she like pulls it off and throws it at him in like disgust. Like, my mom trusted you. She like trusted the
okay.
church, and she wanted you to protect her, and you're just making it out to be this whatever thing. So he has it.
Yeah.
Which,
I saw it in his boiled dead hand.
And when Felice the witch kills the priest, she gets like a bloody nose. So I feel like it like takes a lot out of her. But he has the cross. So if the cross was supposed to protect or like do something, and they don't show that he has the cross until the end, and they must show that for a reason. So I'm like, and that's kind of everything in this movie.
And why would that even? Because like it's weird. It's weird to say that religion would keep you out, like if you actually believed, and a cross to actually protect people if you're not actually just a witch. Like,
well, I think that we're saying that witches are the Goa'uld from Stargate.
You think that's what we're to believe?
I believe so.
That like all witches are these things. What's strange to me
At
is
least
that
this witch is.
even in the best case scenario, had she taken over Amy, I think was her name.
Amy.
Body Amy, good gorilla.
Amy, good gorilla.
Had taken over her body.
In the Congo.
Yeah.
It's a prequel.
It all comes back around.
Thank God.
That's the last girl. There's no more.
Yeah.
And if you can't have and then I was like, oh, is she like gonna try to squirt out a real quick kid with the dad? Like, what is her end game here? Because you're done at this point. Like, you have to find a whole new family or die or however your rules and mythos works here.
And part of me is like, oh, she wants this one, but she's already way older than her last host. So it's this weird. I don't know.
And I wonder, I was like, how late can you go? Is using your powers weakening your body further?
Yes.
What are these rules?
So.
Why? Like, give me a little something more.
Yeah, and there's a little inconsistency where sometimes she is controlling the cat. I hope not all the time, because why would she make the cat attack the dad? To get him vulnerable? I don't know.
I think to get his shirt off and she could touch him.
Good morning.
What happened?
Yeah, because there was no other way for a woman who looks like that to make that happen.
Impossible.
In the 80s. She was very attractive, the witch lady.
Mm-hmm. She plays a model in the thing, a cover model at that.
Right. I think she's like a model or something. And I was like, okay. So that part's doing it for me. I think as a 13-year-old, I would have been like, this movie's great because she's topless several times in it.
Sure. No, I think that's the kind of thing they were going for. They were going for this gory, TNA kind of movie, but they really didn't hammer out a ton of gore, and the nudity was almost tasteful. It wasn't this
nudity's tasteful
crazy thing.
And relevant, and a lot of other stuff is so boring that I can't see someone who just wants gore or tits to sit through some of those we're gonna go to the mall or whatever and all that stuff. Yeah.
I hated the boyfriend character so bad.
Terry from Crazy Cakes, both with a K.
Hi, Terry. Come see me at the shop sometime, all right?
Yes. So that dude, his whole thing of oh, I lost my stud. I really got to get this thing fixed.
Gotta get this thing fixed. It's always falling out, you know?
I was like, what do you mean fix a stud? Put a back on it, you moron.
I don't know if you had the volume turned up high enough, but did you hear them saying, this is going to come into play later? When that happened, did you hear that?
No.
I'm joking.
Wait, what?
No, I'm obviously joking.
That was obvious. It was.
No, it was the director with a megaphone.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think they got it? Say it again. It was crazy.
No, yes. Very much so.
Yes. So honestly, mechanically speaking, this happens other times too, but the movie, screenplay wise, is doing a good job. They are setting things up and paying them off. And they even show you that she needs trinkets before he even goes to the hotel room. So by the time he's booking it out of there, you're like, my boy.
I actually expected one more time in between him to be oh, here it is. Lose it one more time to really lay it on as thick as possible, because it wasn't a smart movie.
At the park or something, he could have lost it. They could have been on the swings. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's just a lot of weird, bizarre things. The whole death in the escalator situation. She drops her lipstick. It cost me $8.
Shit. Forget about it. It cost me $8.
She merely goes to the hospital.
Yes.
I don't know if she dies.
She didn't die.
You never see her again.
No, of course not. She was.
I want to see with bandages on her face.
But my thought was how did that even make sense? The necklace wasn't this long, crazy, dangly necklace. She got hooked, spun around, dragged, and it was what was cutting through her face. It's a chintzy, thin necklace.
I know.
It would just snap. Or snap it on purpose to get the fuck out of there. And then she
magic,
yells
apparently?
to Terry, Terry, help! And from a mile away, he's like, I'm coming!
Hang on!
Yeah.
And he runs, almost making it in time.
I got Stranger Things vibes from this whole section, because he works at a dairy dessert place, and he runs over in the mall and is kicking the emergency button. It won't stop. Honestly, I agree with you that the necklaces are not strong enough to do that, but I don't really care about that. I liked at the end, like the hair and like blood like hitting the edge of the thing and all that stuff.
Sure.
To be like a little tasteful about the maiming of this child
what
or
could
whatever.
they show?
Right?
And
Yeah,
I'm sure at that
exactly.
moment they're like, "Are we killing her or not?" I don't know. Just
say she's in the
We're
hospital.
fine.
We
Yeah.
don't have to bring this up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a movie that does something like that to a character should have her go visit her at the hospital. Do they do that?
No, they do not do
And
that.
she even goes to the hospital.
Yeah.
For other reasons.
Sure.
It's very interesting.
So as far as interesting, weird things go, the neighbor who was like the mom's best friend who like helps raise the kid
Favorite
and
character
whatnot,
in the movie.
She was good, but she had some things where I was like, what does she do for a living that she just like calls in a blood work analysis on something?
She's a nurse.
Yes, but you could just be a cop. It doesn't mean you could call in a blood analysis. Like people ask questions.
You can call in a murder at that point if you're a cop. That's perfect.
It was just very, very weird.
So like now we're in the third act, and we have like the priest is rushing across town to get to the dad's office. You know, like the surrogate mom neighbor is rushing to like the lab to get the blood analyzed. Like it's so crazy at that point that I turned back around and I started to enjoy it as like a schlocky thing because stuff's
at
like
that
crazy.
moment
at
where
that
she's getting a
point.
blood test,
Yeah.
so it turns out it's like coagulated dead blood because she's fucking 1,000 years old.
We've
or
only
whatever.
seen this blood in dead people.
But what I need to know is what was her best case scenario? It's like that was obviously the best case scenario. Was actually something else? But I'm like, what was her best case scenario? What was she thinking? They'll find out she's got illegal immigrant blood. Like
she's type O negative. Like yes.
What was the point of that?
Yes. It's
very
weird.
strange because it wasn't like do a criminal background check on this blood. It was like
trying to
check
think.
this blood for anomalies.
I don't want to sell the movie short, so I'm trying to think, but I don't think there is anything.
And I was like, what does she think? She's part cat?
I thought that.
Did you?
Yes. Because you haven't seen the cat yet, right? And she comes in and sneezes, and it's a really awkward, drawn-out thing. And she says, "What'd you get, a cat?" And I'm like, "You're just a cat person."
Oh, phew. Bless you.
Oh, God. Did you guys get a cat?
No, why?
Allergies. Besides, the damn things give me the creeps.
That was my like immediate thought, my first thought there. But I don't know what Brenda was thinking.
I have no idea.
They show
Doesn't make
her.
any sense.
So like Amy's talked to her several times by then, and they show her like about to do laundry and like clutching the shirt and thinking like, you know what, maybe I should do something here. Right? And but it's such a crazy idea. Like I fundamentally agree with you. Yes, how is a nurse? And like they play it up like, "You owe me a favor," and the guy's like, "Make me some coffee, toots." And then he's like analyzing blood, and I'm like, "How old is this blood? What's happening?" It's like a crazy. But again, like now we're in like the meter has gone past, and now we're on the schlock side where I'm like, "This is great. I love this."
Before I forget, the guy who plays the doctor, I don't know how he's even like alive, let alone cast with that weird haircut he had.
Marketing for me, will you, hon?
Yes, dear.
Which doctor?
There was like the black dude doing the blood test.
Yeah.
He has like a weird little afro in the back of his head and one single line of hair in the front of his head and like a very clean spot in the middle. Like
I never looked at his head.
It looked like he should have been one of the punks from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I was
Nice.
like, what am I looking at here?
Care about you, and did I question? I care about you, and did I question? I care about you, and did
I guess it's like
this
he
is-
must be a doctor. What else could he be?
Sinbad's either a pirate or a comedian.
Exactly.
Those were his only options. At this point in the movie, we are at the point, right? Because the dad was gonna get on a plane,
Yes.
right? And like Brenda has to call and be like, "The blood's dead. Also, Terry's dead."
I
And
was
like,
thinking
and
at
you're
this
like,
point,
what?
at this job that is like the reason I can maintain owning my house and like, change your career, what would it take for that phone call for me to stop? And when she's like, "Oh, her maybe boyfriend is dead," and something about blood, I'd be like, "Karen, stop drinking."
Yeah. All right. Just everyone try to not die till I get back, and just like leave, right? Because you'd be
More
like,
or less.
I got this new model hot chick who seems to be interested in me, and and a kicking job, right?
Sure.
I had this daughter with the other chick who's dead now. I'll just never come back. Where am I going? Chicago? I live in Chicago now. Felice, meet me in Chicago. You would just leave.
I
right?
also love the blissful ignorance of before like 9/11 airports where it's like you buy your ticket, you walk through a tiny curtain, and you go like right to the airplane.
Excuse me, sir. We're holding the plane for you.
Yeah, his ability to come and go.
Yeah.
And to like make a scene and like push, wait, there's a phone call for you. Like what? Like
The
this
stewardess
insane.
walks 6 feet from the phone to the plane. She's like, you have a phone call.
And she pops back in, we're waiting for you. And he's like, fuck off. And does the whole thing.
Yeah.
Small thing, I hate / like that at the airport when like Brenda shows up, like you think he's gonna get in the car. There's a bit of a pause, and then he appears on the driver's side, like bitch, I'm driving, and just gets in and starts driving. It's so weird. Little things like this, I always think are like so weird in like movies.
A weird like mistake / cheap whatever is like you barely see any of the neighbor's house. You do see her do laundry though, and they're like, clearly we have to show her house again. We've already destroyed the other set. The gun is just kept in the laundry room.
Yes.
What?
And when she's doing stuff, her character is so funny too, because she wears like high-waisted shorts and like has every cleaning supply ever, and is like, I'm gonna make you a sandwich. Like it has a very weird type. It's
How about
very
the commercial for Diet Coke? I
Yeah.
just want a Diet Coke. I'll get you a Diet Coke. There's a machine down the way.
Yeah.
Fucking Diet Coke! Look, there's a machine down the hall. I'll get you a Coke, but you've got to calm down.
Have you had lunch? Diet Coke. Oh, I'll make you a tomato sandwich.
Have you had lunch yet? Oh, forget it. Tomato sandwich coming up.
Big Tomato's also involved with this. No,
Big Tomato.
When she said, all I want is a Coke, in my head I'm like, or a Pepsi.
So runner-up for best lines come from Neighbor Chick Who You Love.
Yeah,
from
Brenda.
the end of the movie.
You will call her by her name.
When she
Sweet
does
Lady
pull out
Brenda.
that gun and aim it at the witch, she's like, bullets don't hurt me. You want to fucking bet?
You can't kill something that's already dead.
Do you want a fucking bet?
Like shoots her in the head and I couldn't tell if it's just poor effects or if she's made of adamantium, but it looks just like a ricochet off her head. It's
Yeah,
not
you
like
just
a
kind of
bullet
see
into the
some
head.
like scalp. And
Yeah, a little
stuff,
bit of nothing.
She goes like, "You cannot kill what is already dead." And then, ting,
and I kind of like that because we do see her take a knife to the neck.
It's too late for this.
So she's like invulnerable until she dies of old age.
Yeah, she has like a move because she starts doing it to like her finger, and then she does it to her neck.
Yeah,
and
it just
stuff,
goes away.
Where she's kind of like massaging it, like you're like Jackie Chan, just like rubbing like an
Learn
injury,
from the best.
and it like goes away or something like that. So yes, that's cool.
It was interesting.
That may be how they're sheltering the family, but it seems like the Goa'uld is in control and not like Felice anymore, right?
I don't know if there's ever been a Felice, honestly. Like once the thing takes over, I think the hive mind, is just whatever you got.
Exactly.
I like another move where she's fighting the cat now, and they do a callback to like the great bug zapper of past.
Yes.
Like, oh, it kills anything. Oh, I got a bottom machine. Like.
Oh. That's a hell of a way to get to heaven.
All that shit. But she's like, fuck you, Felix, and like brings that motherfucker right into the thing, and now he's on fire and shit.
And very
I like that. Rakes him into the side. Like that was a fun little scene with the puppet.
Oh, big time, big time. No, there's a whole sequence with that where it's, she's controlling it. It's chasing her. You see it through like the bushes and stuff. It's this whole thing.
I like the controlling aspect. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen something with like oh, she loses in some respect because she's controlling it. So like while she's like seeing through its eyes and doing the control thing or whatever, she gets like cold clocked or something. Would have been fun.
Yeah, someone could have stolen something or done something while she was in that mode or whatever.
We didn't get anything like that. A lot of the cool visuals are in like the last like 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like between the priest dying from like burning from the inside out. In an elevator ride to like the weird, parasite thing swimming in the pool and. Just doing its thing.
All that's solid. One of the probably the most underrated effect is going to be there's a scene in the hotel where Felice looks at her own back in like the mirror, and it goes like on camera though, and I'm like, you don't have CG yet. It's 1988.
Yeah.
What do you?
I had thoughts on that.
You like sucked air out of a thing that was spread across your back to make it wrinkle, I think.
I think so.
Like that's amazing, and it looked really good. And
it did.
And the actress like winced, like, oh, I'm dying. I gotta get that little bitch, and she like goes off. It's like wonderful. Yeah.
So that was an interesting effect.
I also thought that once once the worm's out of her. When she should immediately collapse, but still does a little bit of stuff. It's really weird.
Yeah, she's fading fast.
Yes, but she gets a little time, which is so weird. And we don't use that as an opportunity to have her be Felice again. And
like, why was she even still on the enemy's team at that point?
Because if the worm's doing it,
the worm is the enemy.
Then why
she has no incentive
to pull her back, into the pool at that point, right?
Speaking of pull back into the pool,
wait.
The pool.
But hold on. I liked the makeup on her. It was like Walking Dead, Beetlejuice. Like she looked dead.
It's the cover art.
Cool.
Like it's almost the only time you really get a chance to appreciate that stuff.
And
you see a little bit of that in the train car in the original bit.
Yeah, the train car looked
dimly
like
lit
a different
and
effect. Yeah, and here it's moving. You get like the eyes are like super visible. You see her sinking in like the water. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, there's great like hair flow in the water.
This is a nice looking dead lady.
Back to this water.
Yes, the water.
Amy can't understand how a human gets out of a pool.
Yes.
So like, I understand if you just don't have the upper body strength to like shoot yourself out of a pool.
Shit.
Oh, nice language. Time's not so good, huh?
It sucks.
Sure.
Like little children do. That's one thing. But
damn, shots fired.
Don't film it 1 foot over from the ladder to leave the pool. It's literally like one of those things like where if me and you have a tight shot and we're making fun of somebody and then it pans out and they're like 1 foot away. It's that, but the ladder. Yeah. And then when she finally does get out with the help of, what's her name, Brenda?
Brenda!
She like falls right back in. Like, how did that happen?
No, the whole ending, like they're trying to like manufacture drama out of a situation that should have much less drama, and they choose the pool to do the fight, and there's a reason for that, I think, that I'll come back to, I guess. But yeah, like the dad screaming, the propane tanks in the water, and like they show Amy falling back in right before the explosion.
Yeah.
And then they show Amy out again. Yeah. It's this really dumb, like, why are we doing this?
I actually was hoping that it would like have a post-credit or right at the end that like it was inside of her.
So this...
Because you lose track of it in the water. There's an explosion. She's in the water. She's out of the water. I'm like, oh, she got out of the water because she was, parasitically driven.
This is why I was going to say, and they chose to do everything at the end, in the pool, because there's a scene even earlier on where they both go under the water. And then they come back up, and I was like, "Aha! This is gonna be the thing." And instead of having the worm get loose and get roasted in like the propane fire, now you just won't know if it's already happened yet or not. And this is awesome. And
I did like that roasting in the propane fire.
Sure.
I like whenever someone is suffering to hurt somebody else, and it's a demon-y parasitic organism that you're not even sure if fire even hurts. And he puts his hand like right into it, and I'm like, he's an architect. He needs that hand to live.
Father of the year.
Pretty much.
It's like connecting two wires and getting zapped between the thing.
Yes. I like that. I like that a lot. It was weird too that like there's like a propane flamethrower thing happening.
Yeah.
That like right when it drops into the pool starts to explode. And I'm like, well, why would that happen? When
I
it
was
has
like,
less air,
pressure. Like I don't know.
Maybe
if it's going
I can't
in
say
now.
that I've ever thrown a like flamethrowing propane tank into the deep end.
Well, but like they act like the dad at the very least acts like he knows what's going to happen. That's going to explode.
Well, he read the script.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole ending was, and without the ambiguous post-credit, like weird, like you see the worm or you see the cat or like she acts different or something happens.
Yeah.
Then the whole appeal of the movie, the whole thing of like, right? Because like, what's the story now? Oh, everyone died except your one friend who's like permanently disfigured, but you saved the day or whatever. And like,
it really sucks to be anywhere near Amy.
Yeah.
Amy's like the kiss of death. The kiss.
We did it!
I would actually prefer if that's what they meant by that, and it had nothing to do with actually kissing a alien egg, whatever fucking thing.
Yeah, the kiss was actually the kiss between Amy and her father. The really creepy stuff that happens between them.
I had no memory of this parasitic organism thing.
Yeah.
Like in my head, it was like anything else, where it's like you get close enough and you would see like the weird effect of like sucking your soul out or something.
Yes.
In my head, I think that's exactly what it was. I thought it was sucking the youth, and you were still you and just got younger.
Oh wow, interesting.
I didn't remember this swapping bodies business.
Yeah.
Because I probably saw this when I was like 6 or 7, like that.
Yeah. Well, they sell it like, just one kiss is all it takes to transfer and you're done for. And it's like, it's not one kiss. It's like a So speaking of like, it's an alien or it's possession or it's this or it's that, another small thing that bothered me, after the airport when they're rushing to the house, the father says something basically like, because Brenda's like, we should call the cops. And then he says, and tell them what? That a demon's about to possess my daughter?
We should call the police.
And what the hell do we tell them? That someone is trying to possess my daughter?
Or something like that, or like a witch. And I'm like, how does he know about possession at all at this point? How has he heard about anything about this? Why does he think possession is even on the table?
Well, that leads to a lot of the things where it's like, this is underexplained or undersold. Maybe there were edits and stuff that were made, like The Cross, things that would tie this together to be a better movie instead of something that didn't make money.
I think it could have done some interesting stuff with like Brenda, because like this woman thinks that there's something wrong with her sister, that she's like a witch and she's evil and she's bad. And she seems to know, because on that creepy phone call she says, it's time, and she goes, never.
Hillary, I have to see you. It's time.
No. Never.
Right? So she seems to even kind of know something's happening or whatever, right?
Yeah, even if you took it
Something's
as the most ignorant, like at words of like I have to see my aunt, my niece.
My niece.
It's time after all these years.
You'll never see your niece.
Yeah.
She responds in like it's a very
She
creepy
goes right for a
phone
gun,
call.
so there's obviously something.
Exactly. So she knows something bad's going to happen, right? More about the priest real quick, because there's a few things surrounding him and his death that I found to be funny in different ways or something like that. Mm-hmm. When she kills him, his trinket is like his Bible.
Yeah.
And part of me was like, how are you going to fit the Bible into your little, coin tray thing? And she tears a page. She tears a page out, which I'm like, okay, obviously you have to tear a page out. And then proceeds to origami it and fold it into a little man.
Yeah, like, I did like that actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's like a dumb thing that I like. It's like a thing.
I was impressed that she lights it on fire, like in the little totem thing, because I was like, that's a prop. That'll probably go up in flames. I like that. I thought it was a little weird that. It's weird to me that not only does he perform the like, okay, you're Satan's fighters, Christian God, whatever it is.
Don't lean on the Lord for too much.
Father, come and meet them.
Thanks, Hillary.
Like in the beginning, he does like the funeral. He's like he does weddings, bar mitzvahs, blah, blah, blah. He's also like her history teacher.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Philosophers used to say, the heart of a good man is the sanctuary of his soul.
Like, what doesn't he do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
He
does a late night prayer.
Amy, what are you doing out so late?
If you have a guy to be the priest, you use him to be the priest.
I guess.
You don't have the director cameo as the priest.
I would love if that was a director.
No, the that happens in like a Stephen King movie, right?
I don't think he directed that one, but he did cameo.
He's like the funeral guy.
That was in Pet Sematary, right?
And now, may the Lord bless you and keep you.
The other thing is probably the most interesting, especially for its time, like effects, non-effects shot ever. The priest is like falling over. It's like right after he gets Bible burned and stuff. And I like that he touches it and then it's on his hand too. And he's like, ah. Here. And all that stuff is a cool thing.
Yeah.
So like it cuts to Amy like running away and he's like trying to block Felice and she pushes him out of the way. Then it cuts to him falling and it like zooms in and becomes black and white really quick. It's like such a strange, I feel like they just didn't have like a good footage or angle or like ending and they were trying to like save it or something. But that's the kind of thing you see in like modern digital video editing and not like 1988 old school like straight editing or something.
If I had to call out
very strange.
an amazing shot that has to be talked about, it would be as like, you know, the witch like falls from the window through the greenhouse and then like punches out the glass.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening?
Why is this
she the Terminator all of a sudden?
She crawls down.
Yeah, it
like
was
the
very
thing or
weird
whatever.
looking.
Yes.
And like, not weird and like, oh, this is off-putting. Oh, that's strange. And not weird like, oh, that's cool. It was just weird.
The most off-putting, strange moment in the movie when they say, we're going to the mall, fuck you, and they leave. And then it cuts to a mannequin slowly turning on its base, but it makes this creepy noise.
It's at a weird angle and it's spinning, but that also comes after a great line like, what do you think, we're turning tricks? And it cuts to the dad, turning tricks.
Turning tricks?
And then they're turning tricks.
See, it's symbolism. Tricks. No, something about the noise and like the way the mannequin was like jerking and turning.
Yeah,
it
did have like a fucking ring vibe to it.
That like set, you know, that whole beginning chunk of the movie with like the mom's death up to like the escalator or whatever. I was on, but then I was out again, and then the ending became so schlocky that I was back in.
I was impressed by that whole bit though, because I'm like, that's actually a mall with a lot of extras.
Oh, yeah.
Like this feels like a real ass movie.
Oh, Amy, this store is definitely you. Don't you think? It's so sophisticated. Oh, and I'm really sophisticated. Hi. Hi.
Oh, it's a real ass movie. There's like people in the pool at the pool party.
Yeah. So then what happened? This is so great, Amy. My dad finds out my mom got me this gift certificate from Bloomingdale's, and I get to go to New York to use it. So he tells me he'll get me a CD player.
And not just like four people.
There's a ton of people.
Old ladies at the mall and kids and stuff.
80s actual movie stuff.
Yeah.
But the budget wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it didn't make a lot of money. It's not the best movie ever, but I think it's a worth watching thing because it has some interesting concepts, some things that aren't very fleshed out, other things that they flesh too much. And that's the case.
I think if you're into the genre and you're like a fan of stuff or whatever, or you have a weird fragment of a memory about an escalator or like someone storming a church or a little paper man, like if you have any of those, like you may find yourself being one of the people who's like, oh, this is that movie. I have seen this, right? Because it's one of those that I'm sure was on TV because that's the only way I would have seen it.
That's the way I saw it on TV, late night bullshit.
So yeah, worth watching, definitely.
I think it is worth watching. I think if you saw this at a thrift shop or a flea market for like $1 or $2, 100% pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't ever recommend spending $60 on this movie though.
No, if you happen to see it on YouTube in Brazilian with subtitles?
Yes.
Yes.
Even not subtitles, has some cool visuals. Alright guys, that's our thoughts on The Kiss. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
See, the kid, he wants bones coming out of its mouth. You know, like it just ate his parents.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinion.